So kudos to those that did Sober October. And if you are sober curious right now and you want to check out This Naked Mind, I cannot recommend that book more. It gives such a good overview of just being more aware of our choices and why we're making them. And let me tell you this, what I love most about the book is like when I listened to it on Audible, and what I loved is that she tells you right in the beginning, like, you don't have to make a choice of not drinking anymore. Because obviously, like, that can feel really overwhelming. And I can see even people who are sober curious being like, I don't want to start a book that tells me to stop drinking. Like, I get it. And you don't have to make that choice. Even when you finish the book, you don't have to make that choice. It's just getting information so that you have it. And information is power, right? When we know better, we do better. And although sometimes I hear information that I don't want to hear because I don't want to make tough choices, it always helps me. And this book was really, really informative just for me to be like, holy shit. What are the messages that have been fed to me from media, from society, that I haven't even had control of my whole life? Now I can have more control and more say. So, life coaching spots close today. This is the last chance. I'll put the link in my bio, but we would have to make a time work that could work for this week. So even if you can't make it this week, we might not be able to do it this week. You'd have to get on the list for December. I try to really... I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. I don't know if I've ever sneezed on the podcast. That's a first. But I really like to keep them. Oh no, I'm going to sneeze again. What's happening? I like to keep them to the 3-week spots just to honor your time. And what the heck? Okay. I think I'm okay. I thought I was going to sneeze again. But so it starts this week, goes for 3 weeks. We do 3 weeks of consecutive weekly hour-long sessions and move you forward. That's it. $9.99 gets you for the 3 sessions. The other way to join me is obviously in my free community. But I would love to help you move yourself forward. I finally, this is like a side note of, this is like, let's peel the curtains of Melissa's business, because, this was a really big aha moment for me last week. So if you're in the business realm, MLM, network marketing, building shit online for yourself, whatever you're in, there's a lot of noise about like creating a niche, right? Who's your target audience? Who's your avatar? I've been in this field for like 8 years now, and that's always a big conversation. And then the follow-up to the conversation is always like, do you need one? Need a niche? Do you need an avatar? And there's lots of speaking of lots of fucking noise about shit, there's a lot of noise about this topic. And me, little Miss ADHD, who's like, boom, boom, oh, I got distracted. I'll be like, okay, I need a niche. Like, let me write down my avatar. Okay, Melissa, smoker, eats lots of Velveeta mac and cheese. That's who I was before I started my journey. So that's who I'm working with now, right? And then I'm like, oh, I hear a training that's like, you don't need a niche. And I'm like, fuck that. I can help all the people just like I want. But in reality, I do feel like there are unicorns that can sort of not niche and just speak as they are, speak authentically, and attract the people that are meant for them. I do think some people, your girl included, needs a niche to talk about what they specialize in so that the people who need them can find them. Because I think for me, in all of my years in this digital space of growing a business and branding myself on social media, is in my journey to help all the people, I think could have helped more if I niched down a little bit. And I had this aha moment last week where I was like, I know what my niche is. It is busy fucking humans. I'm going to say women because I just love women, but there are also a lot of men that I like to work with. But do you hear what I'm doing? I'm already doing it again. My niche is a woman, but I'll help the men too because I like to help everyone. Fuck that. Okay. Strong, busy women who hide self-care or lack of self-care behind all of the roles they play. That could be their job, that could be their role as a mom, that could be their job as a wife, it could be their fucking job as a dog mom. All I know is that I see so many people hide behind, I'm going to say work, because I see that so much. They hide behind their work, they have no boundaries with their work, and that is their excuse to not take care of themselves. And this, I was like, oh my God, like this is my jam. When someone tells me like, I don't, I have anxiety, or I can't sleep, or, I'm having bad relationship, whatever experience that they're having, and they come to me and I say to them, okay, tell me what a typical day looks like for you. Like, when do you start working? If you work from home, when do you open your computer? When do you log on? People that work from home at this point, and I know I'm speaking to someone out there, guys, you may want to do a time audit, because I am seeing so many people that are working from home. They love it because of they started it maybe in COVID, or maybe they kept doing it because of COVID. Guys, they have zero boundaries around their work. Not only is their ego way inflated about how much the company needs them and how much they're needed at their job, their ego is inflated, and then they have no boundaries. And you are literally like giving your life away to your company or your employer, who doesn't give a shit at the end of the day. They really don't. Like, if numbers have to be cut, it doesn't matter how much of your soul you're giving to them. Stop doing it. Stop doing it. Like, do a time audit, see where your time is going, and see where you're lacking. What areas are you struggling in? Are you struggling with your health? Are you struggling with your, I don't know, like, do a time audit and see where can I give? What can I give in here? And I guarantee you there's not only areas that you can scale back from work and put it into yourself, but I challenge you to do that. So, and I was thinking about this yesterday too. I was at Betty, my youngest puppy, my only puppy. She's my black lab puppy. She started training. I think yesterday was training number 4, 6 weeks of puppy school. And that's been so like eye-opening for so many reasons. Like, so first of all, it's amazing how, because I hear these conversations all the time about people who, I was talking to my friend over the weekend, right? We were driving to a half marathon together, and she was talking about her half Ironman training and how people will say to her, like, I could never do that. And we were talking about, like, of course you can't do that from that day, right? But you absolutely can. You have to do the training to become that person who can accomplish that goal, right? It's a process. No one just wakes up and says, yes, I can do a half Ironman. You have to train for it. You have to put in those hours of swimming and biking and running, and then be able to build up that endurance to do that event, to be that person who does that event, right? Same thing with dog training, right? I think it was the first day, the teacher was like, why would you expect your dog to be able to sit when they've never been trained to sit? And I'm like, oh yeah, like that makes sense. So when it comes to, putting in the time to become that person, it takes time. And I'm seeing this every single week in in dog school with Betty. We're putting in the work. We're doing the exercises, the activities, practicing sit, practicing stay, practicing recall, practicing come. And every time I think of it like therapy, because I see people weekly. We have our conversations. We talk about what's happened in their week. They have a plan to move themselves forward. And sometimes they don't get to do those activities that we've planned for them to do, like homework activities, journal activities, anything like that. And when they come back the next time, sometimes they still feel like shit, right? Because they haven't really put in that extra time during the week to help with their training. Or they feel better, but it's from the talking piece, and they haven't done the side work that they know that they have to do at home. But having that piece of accountability, just to know that they're coming back to tell me about their week and to share with me how it's gone, helps them just in doing that. And I can say that that's been my experience with the Betty training too. Even though I'm not doing as much in the week as I should be to help with these skills that we're learning, it helps that when the week comes and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't do my homework, it still helps to have that accountability and that reminder for her and for me of what we're working on. So that's sort of the beauty of having a life coach or a therapist, or a life coach and a therapist had a baby like me. It helped, the accountability helps. So even if you can't get that shit done in the meantime, that training, right? That training, it's sort of like running every weekend, right? If you're like a 169er who runs a race in all the towns in Connecticut, and you run a race every weekend, maybe you're not training for a marathon per se, or a half marathon, or a 5K, or whatever you're training for, but you're putting in some work every single week. It may not be enough to reach your goal, whatever that goal might be, but at least you've still got that, like, you're getting that consistent, I guess that's what it is, that consistency. You're getting that consistency down. So anyway, so the life coach spots are closing. I would love to help you to stop putting work in front of your life. Like, that is driving me crazy. Stop doing it. Stop doing it. You are more important than your job. You're more important than any hat that you wear. And if you know if you're on not in balance, right? I can't tell you that. Maybe you are letting your job run you ragged and you feel amazing. Kudos to you. This is your effing journey. I'm not here to tell you that that's the bad decision. I just don't want you to sit in the struggle. That's where I struggle. I'm like, why are you struggling? Stop struggling. If you're struggling in one area or more areas, look at those areas and figure out where you can move yourself forward. If you're not sure how, I'm your girl. Reach out to me. We can talk. Let's move you forward. Okay. And then what I wanted to talk about today, and this is just going to be very short, but I was thinking about this last week. So I had yet another incident where I had to advocate for my youngest at her school. And this, we are having a way better experience this year than last year. I think on some level, education is tough, right? Right now, maybe always. And I don't want to get in a conversation about education. I just want to explain from a parent standpoint, because and if you haven't been here or you're new here, maybe I'll try to link that episode where I talk about what happened my daughter 4th grade year. But after that happened, I had sort of always been under this mentality of, you be nice, right? Like, you be nice, you smile like a woman should smile, and you be kind to people and nice to people, and, very demure, very mindful. But seriously, like, you don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to be an angry woman. You don't want to be a woman who ruffles feathers. And it makes me so mad because even last week, I, in my head, was like, oh, like when I had to advocate for my daughter, I was like going to call the principal, and I almost in my mind said, like, oh, I don't like to cause problems. And I immediately I wanted to like deck myself in the face, because I couldn't even believe that verbiage was coming. Like, it was so close to my lips. It didn't come out, but it was so close to coming out. And it was my first thought. I was like, what? Am I like a 1850s housewife right now? Like, what do you mean you don't want to, you don't, this is not what you want to do. You don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to ruffle feathers. Like, yes, you fucking do. That is your fucking kid up there well, she wasn't up there when this all was happening, but she was crying in a bathroom stall at school when a teacher sent her away from a classroom. So you bet your ass, am I going to go in screaming obscenities at the principal? Hell no. Am I going to assertively speak and advocate for my child? Absolutely. And I wanted to share that because tomorrow's election day, and I'm not going to get in on political shit, but if you're I don't know, familiar with me, I am a huge advocate for women voting and remembering that this was not always our right. This was a right that women fought for us. So you better get out there and fucking vote, and you better get out there and ruffle feathers, and you better get out there and stand up for yourself. And even if you make people uncomfortable, even if you make people upset, say what you mean, say what you feel, speak up, use your voice, and don't ever quiet yourself because you think that that's what women should do, or you think that that's what society needs. Like, we need women who are powerful and strong and badasses and speak up for themselves and for others. So if you're walking around like I almost did last week, saying to myself, like, I don't want to cause trouble. Heck no. If I need to cause trouble because trouble needs to be had for a solution to come, then that's what needs to happen. So and I have to share also, like, whenever the New York City Marathon was yesterday. Congrats to anyone who completed it. It's so amazing. I love those big marathons. Like, nothing fires me up more. But, I watched a video about, how new women running marathons is for women. I mean, guys, the 1970s, like that, maybe that doesn't seem like yesterday for you, but for me, it does. And we have to remember, all of these people that fought, like seeing Catherine Switzer get shoved in the Boston Marathon by men who were like, you can't run. Your fucking ovaries are going to fall out. Like, she fought for us to run. All those early marathon women did. And like, I watched a video where she was talking yesterday about her first New York City marathon was, I think, 1973, she said. I could be wrong about that. But she said that, one of the biggest things they had to win, or one of the biggest groups of people they had to win over, was women. The women watching her run on the New York City Marathon were like angry, right? They didn't get it. I don't know, like, it's a new thing. But also the shocking part is that she almost, I guess I guess the goal for her was to run a 3-hour marathon, which, if you're a runner, like, that is fucking insane. Like, that is so fast. Just to give you some level of comparison, my PR is in Boston, and I'm not a super speedy runner, but my PR in Boston was a 4:56. So that just gives you some comparison. Her, they wanted her to run an under 3-hour marathon, and she did it in 3:07. And she was like, she knew that it wouldn't be looked great that she was finishing in 3:07 and not under 3 hours, but she also wanted to prove that women could do it, because if she pulled herself off the course, then it would have been like, oh, well, women can't do that. So her 3:07 marathon was like, not so great. I'm like, what? But anyways, women fought for our right to vote. Women fought for our right to run. This is why we should be enjoying and celebrating all of these things that we get to do now, because women fought for us. So please fight for all women tomorrow and go vote for our first fucking female president. I know I said I wouldn't go political, but I have to say that, because, guys, we got to save our country. Let's save our country. I hope you have a great week. I'm going to put the link in the show notes for the life coaching program. Member enrollment closes today. Otherwise, see you in December or January. And I hope this episode spoke out to you in some way. Share it in your stories. Tag me with your takeaways. I love you guys for being here. Thank you so much.